Hello, and welcome back to the Ladies Room Talk Show. I'm Clarissa Kenty, your Kingdom Concierge, and we are live, guys. I am so excited about tonight. I have my family inside the ladies' room, and we're going to hang out tonight. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, I didn't even know she had family because I am not from Birmingham. So you would not see my family in Birmingham because I'm originally from South Carolina. And so that's where most of my family is from. But Tonya is in Milwaukee. So you guys are going to get to meet my family tonight. And we're going to talk about her amazing book, Let's Kiss. It's going to be great, great, great. I'm looking forward to that dialogue. Before I bring her into the show, I wanted to talk about our show on last week. We had Minister Pastor Yolanda Tyreen Crenshaw with the Hill International Birmingham. She is the pastor of the Hill International. She came in, guys, with a fire word from God for 2023. Now, when she came into the show, we had a little mishaps because the camera did not work last week. And I thought that to be quite interesting because the camera did not work. And I said, you know what? I'm used to this kind of, because when I have powerful ministers to come on to the show, sometimes we have those types of disruptions to where there's something that kind of disrupts them from being able to come on clear. Sometimes that happens. So I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised about that. But one thing we did have was the word continue to go forth. So there is an audio version of that. So you heard us, but you could not see us. And so I talked to Pastor Crenshaw and we talked about it a little bit. She said, Clarissa, I want that video to stay up exactly the way it is. And I said, huh? She said, yeah. She said, I want it exactly the way it is, because what's most important is the word going forth. It's not about what you see. It's what's most important is the word. And she said, I want it to go up just like that. And I want it to stay just like that. So last week, guys, I told you that I would upload the video portion of it. Pastor Crenshaw wants it to stay just like it is because the word is so powerful. We just did not want to disrupt the authenticity of the actual video. So guys, go out there, listen to it. It's kind of like a podcast on steroids. You can go and cook and clean or do whatever you want to do and listen to that, because I'm telling you, that word was indeed powerful. And I want to give a big shout out to Pastor Crenshaw for coming on and sharing that word with us on last week. So I also want to send out my condolences. There was a mass shootout, and I can't remember the name of the city, but those of you who watched the news on last night know. And a lot of people lost their lives. Some are still in the hospital. So condolences go out to them. My prayers go out to all of the families who were affected by that. And also, guys, I just want to just keep people uplifted. People are really having a tough time right now. People are having problems trying to get food for their homes, really having an issue with cash flow, a major, I think it's a major meal or a major company in South Carolina that's closing down. If you're watching the news, if you look at all of the major distribution companies, there's over 100, well, maybe 50,000 jobs that people are going to be losing, layoffs that will be taking place across the country. And we want to keep those people uplifted as well. What I am hearing is that there's an increase of shoplifting in stores. There's an increase of shoplifting in stores because people just cannot afford to get some things, and it's starting to increase in that. So we want to keep people uplifted. I believe that people know better. They do better. If they have it, they will conduct themselves in a better manner. I am not condoning this type of behavior, but what I am saying is that we need to uplift our country. We need to uplift families out here who are really trying their best, but they're struggling. And so you may not know who that person is, but if we can just keep them uplifted, I would solicit your prayers on behalf of our brothers and sisters out here who are having a hard time. So with that out of the way, I want to bring my amazing cousin on so that we can talk about Let's Kiss. And we may be able to talk about a couple other things too, because Tonya is a beast. in what she does. She's a beast in the industry. She has a heart for small businesses. She wants to see us grow. She wants to see us be successful. And I'm a part of an initiative that she has going on. And since I've been a part of that, I have made some very strong connections and I have made some very strong relationships. And we're able to um, cross work with each other with our businesses. And it's a lot has to do with Tonya connecting the right people and connecting strong people. So we'll probably talk about that tonight as well. But we're going to bring to the show first time, but not her last time, the amazing, my cousin, Tonya Hill. Hey, Tonya.
Hello, cousin. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
So let's talk about this book. I like the name of it. Let's Kiss. That's
Let's
cute. I like it. I love it. So, how did you come up with the name of that book?
Well, in network marketing, when I started my journey back in 1996, that was a phrase that was thrown around all the time. Keep it super simple. Keep it super simple. And I'm a simple gal. I like things broken down. I don't like extending conversations longer than they have to be. I like to be in and out. And so it just describes my personality. In addition to that, when you think of a book on a shelf and it has lips on it and let's kiss, people are going to be attracted to that cover. And so it's a play on words. It's nothing about kissing literally. It's keeping life super simple.
I love it. With my ladies' room logo, I have similar to that concept with some lips on it,
Uh-huh.
and I thought it would be an attention grabber too, and it did. I
Right.
will say, one lady reached out to me and she said, "You know, I love your show." She's from some other city. She said, "I
Hmm.
love your show." She said, "But you know, you may just want to reconsider your logo because it kind of gives another type of vibe." And I'm like, okay. I said, "Well, thank you, but I know that it's not what you're thinking." So, and I thought that was cute that she was sharing. I did respond in a very nice way,
Uh-huh.
but
Sure.
you want to be able to have like what you're saying, let's kiss. That pulls everybody.
It
And it
does.
intrigues people to see and hear something like that. And that's what you want because once the people are attracted to it, then you're able to really minister and share and help everybody and not just a certain group
Absolutely.
of people.
Not to, we don't want that small percentage because a lot of
Mm-mm.
times they're already in line with what we're thinking if that
Right.
isn't appealing to them. So, absolutely.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, in your book, without giving everything away on it, what are some of the things that you would like to say is kind of like what your pillars are in
Hmm.
the book, or maybe some of your core topics that you have in
Yeah.
Let's Kiss?
Well, the first thing is what would I have Facebook or Meta, as it's now named,
Mhm.
posed a question or a series of questions a while back. And one of the questions was, what advice would you have given your 10-year-old self? And so in the book, I touch on discipline. Growing up, I was in school, it was very simple for me to catch on to concepts. And that was a gift and a curse because I didn't really have to study in order to get good grades.
Mhm.
Therefore, I wasn't that disciplined.
Mhm.
And so, discipline is so key in your adult life because if you don't have it, you'll rely on other people, sources, and things to get things done as opposed to yourself, or you'll make a bunch of excuses as to why you're not doing what you know you should do to reach your goals. So, discipline is so important. And I wish I would have, my 10-year-old self, I wish I would have been taught to just try everything because that's how you are able to then figure out what some of your purpose in life is and what your passions are. And
Mhm.
so that discipline piece and just trying everything because I was an introvert as a young child. I didn't like to go in front of the public to do anything. And so
Mhm.
didn't like public speaking. You couldn't have paid me to be on a podcast or in front of a room teaching and
Mhm.
training back then. No way. And so I wish I would have just been pushed, even though I didn't want to. I wish I would have been pushed to do things that would have taken me out of my comfort zone, and I would
Mm,
have blossomed earlier.
mm. So would you say that some of the things that you have listed in your book kind of is that push for us that are adults now who need that push? Because I don't believe that, it's never too late.
Never.
No, it's never too late. And I believe that sometimes we may be our best version of ourselves in our latter years.
Yes, I
Uh,
believe it will provide a push, but I wanted to be exposed to youngsters,
mm,
because if we would have known what we know now 20, 30 years ago, imagine where we would be today.
yeah.
So I wanted to be for young parents so that they can then teach their children these concepts, and along with teaching them, showing them the example of what's in the book. So
Mm.
all ages, as soon as a person can read and understand concepts, I think these concepts should be taught.
This is great. So, do you think that the way the book is structured, because I know the book is going to be coming out here pretty soon.
Right.
So, do you think this is a book that would be perfect for book clubs? It will be perfect for organizations. Is it set up in such a way that it could be easily used as a curriculum of some sort?
Absolutely. One of my favorite books, and again, keeping things simple, is Who Moved My Cheese?
Hmm.
And that book can be read in less than an hour and a half. It's very simple, it's short. And there's also a video that's very short that encompasses the concepts within the book. And so, yes, I want this book to be taught to any audience, organizations, as a leadership tool in schools, all of, because it applies to everyday life.
Hmm. I like that. I have found that as we kind of go along, there are a lot of people that's kind of in a stuck place
Hmm.
right now. And I remember being that person right before the pandemic, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago.
Hmm.
And I reached out to a life coach who's a friend of mine, and she's a beast. She's good. And so to kind of help me navigate through that and give me that push that I needed. And
Right.
so I like the fact that your book it will be an easy read because you're right. We're in a what we call a microwave generation. People want things quick in a hurry. And I hate that. I mean, audio is good. I like audio. There are times where I would be reading one book, but I have an audio playing in my car. And so I kind of do two books at one time. But I also like the fact of being able to pick up something and read it.
Hmm.
The fact of highlighting. I'm not an old school girl, so I do ebooks, if it's something that I need to refer to, but I like to just kind of thumb through. I like to highlight. I mean, my books are marked. If I give you a book, if I loan you a book, know that you really don't have to read the book. Just go to all my highlights because I'm highlighting and taking notes. That's just kind of how I like to use my books. And so I really, when you look at, I don't know if it's this way in Milwaukee, but in Birmingham, our third graders have to read on a third grade level. And if they're not reading on that third grade level, I think that starts this year. I think it's this year or next year. But if they're not reading on that third grade level, they'll be retained. And that's
Hmm.
based on a third grade um,
Standard.
standardized test.
Hmm.
Okay. And so, I mean, I have my thoughts about it. I do believe if you're in the third grade, you need to read on a third grade level. However, I think sometimes, I don't know if you remember that episode with Good Times and when, Michael, it was Michael that was talking about how what we comprehend something to be ethnicity wise may be a
Right.
little bit something different than what a standardized test would represent. And
True.
so that would be my only concern with that. But I would love to see more push with reading initiatives because we do, our children, if our children are retained, that is just one more negative or knock against their emotion, against their confidence, against their intelligence. And
Hmm.
so, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have it. I'm just saying that there needs to be enough books out there that make the kids want to say, oh, yeah, I want to read that. I don't think it's our kids don't like to read. It's just, I mean, I don't want to read anything that's not interesting to me.
Right.
But I'm not.
Me either. And I think that growing up, I remember in the summer we had book club. So we
Mhm,
would go to the library, there would be a book club, you would have prizes or whatever
mhm.
the case may be. And now it's just everything's electronic. And
Yeah.
so the reading initiatives that we used to be a part of are no longer there. So I
Mhm,
think if we use reading as a reward, perhaps it would become more popular.
mhm, mhm.
Um, and then just uh, having our youngsters understand the importance of diversity, not only as it relates to race, but at how you learn and pick up information,
Mhm.
right? So there's multiple ways that you can learn, but you have to be able to adapt, and you don't want to limit yourself to just one way of doing anything.
Right, right. I don't know. It should be interesting. Do you guys have that where you are, or?
Not in the Milwaukee public school system. No,
Mhm.
kids are
Yeah,
being pushed through. And so
yeah.
that has, you have eighth graders who may be at a fifth grade level, which
Mm,
is not good either. So there
right.
needs to be a balance, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there needs to be a definitely a happy medium there to where if we're going to have that, I think it's good as a gauge, but
Hmm.
making sure that we provide them with the resources so
Right.
that they can win.
Yes.
Because if the majority of these kids aren't able to get to this standardized requirement,
Hmm.
then that means that's another negative that these children are going to have to face. And
Absolutely.
so that's kind of my thing. But I like the fact that with your book, I love easy read books, Tonya. I like it quick. I mean, I read a book. One of our local pastors here, Pastor Earl Dixon, gave me a book to read. And it says never, I think it's never quit, but it talks about not quitting. And
Hmm.
so I read the book. I went to New York that year. I read half of the book on the flight going, and then I read the other half coming back. So I was able to finish that book in my travels, on the
Hmm.
flight. And so I like books like that. I
Right.
love books like that are easy, 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 easy read. When someone finishes reading your book, Tonya, what's their takeaway from Let's Kiss?
The takeaway is living on purpose and pursuing peace and joy.
Mm,
A lot of times we are focused on the material, of course, and we think as young, when I was young, I wanted all the material things, the furs, the cars, the homes, you name it, the
mm,
jewels. And you come to find out later on that it's really no meaning in those things. And so I want a person to walk away knowing that as you pursue your authentic self, and as you surround yourself with people who fuel who you are as opposed to smother who you are, that
mm.
is when you can really live intentionally, peacefully, and joyfully. So,
Right.
another topic in the book is being aware of your emotions and letting yourself know that your emotions are valid. So, sometimes you may be in a relationship with someone, for example, and they don't value how you feel, right? And so you become captive and you feel like your emotions don't matter when they do. So I believe that honoring your emotions, we have emotions, and I believe they're gauges for us to determine whether we should be in or out of a situation, right? So just being in tune with your inner self, being able to adapt to circumstances and situations so that you put yourself in an optimal position at all times. So when you aren't feeling that joy, when your inner self is telling you this isn't right, that you listen to yourself and you
Mhm.
figure out what is right for you. So one of my takeaways as an adult that's invaluable is making sure that when you are in a relationship with someone personally, that your core values are in harmony with each other. Because if you don't have the same core values or similar core values as the person you're in a relationship with, you're always going to be in some kind of
Mhm.
battle,
Mhm.
right? And so knowing that you can't change anyone and no one can change you,
Right.
You just want to be aware of that. That is a gem I wish I would have learned a long time ago. Because
Yeah, that's
relationship and it's always a battle, you need
mhm.
to get out of that relationship.
Yeah. It's I think that's one that's not really taught in rearing.
Hmm.
It's kind of based on what you see or what you think you see,
Right.
or what you think to be the right way for a relationship or a marriage to be. I like, as I'm hearing what you're saying about this book, I would love to see this book in the hands of single people.
Yes.
I would love to see this book in the hands of young girls who are
Hmm.
dating, high school,
Right.
because that's when it starts. That's when you start to identify what type of person you're looking for, who you jive with.
Right.
And then I like the fact that you said, be true to your core values and don't lay them aside or tweak them or push them down for the sake of peace for somebody else.
Right.
Um, my desire is that they get it.
Hmm.
I want them to get it. Sometimes they think love is the all in all to a relationship, but it really has very little to do with it. Tina Turner, now, she
What
said that.
what's love got to do with it?
Hey, we thought it was a song, baby. It was more than a
It
song.
was more than a song.
It was
Yeah.
more than a song. So, we really need to pour into our young girls and guys too.
Hmm.
But really, just really pouring into our girls, because the girls have a tendency to lay a part of themselves down. They are
Right.
sacrificial. They sacrifice who they are for the betterment of whoever they're interested in. And
Yes.
so, and you're right. You really have to make sure that the energies connect. Do you? And I think what I hear on TikTok and Facebook reels and stuff, let me see if he matches my energy, and I think it's so cute. But it's the truth.
True.
The energies have to match. If and everyone doesn't have to be the same person, but your momentum needs to be the same
Hmm.
are very similar. If you're a
Right.
go-getter, you need to be with a go-getter that's kind of in sync. May not think the same way, but that hustle, lack of a better term, but that drive needs to be the same.
Yes.
The way you think about stuff, your mentality of things. And so to get this in the hands of these young girls, how do we do this, Tonya? How do we get this book into groups? Because I think the easier way would be to get it into the hands of groups of girls. So if
Yes.
we know of an organization that's primarily for young people, let's put it in their hands. There's a
Hmm.
organization that I know of that I think that will be very interested in this book. They cater to young single women. They have maybe over 100 women right now that they're catering to that are single moms.
Right.
For whatever reason, they may be divorced, they may have had children, out of wedlock, what have you. They may be widowed, but nevertheless, they are
Mhm.
single moms. So that they're I want to say in pursuit, but they're in that vein of possible new relationships. And
Right.
so I think this book will be good to put into that group's hands. So
Absolutely.
we
Sorority
need,
as well.
yeah, we need to get these this book needs to be like pre-sale like right now. We need to
Right.
get this in the hands of these girls, these ladies.
Yes. And all female institutions.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. So
Yeah. So what is it, Spellman?
hmm
Um
this one.
what are some of the other ones? I'm not familiar with the other ones other than Spellman.
I don't have a list in front of me, but I have some people who have lists for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Who are
So
working
yeah,
on that behind the scenes for me.
we need to put those in the hands of those girls because they need to get the information early and then have dialogue around it. And I would like to see Tonya, you take this on the road as
Oh
a
yeah,
tour. And
absolutely.
well, never mind, we'll talk about that later.
I can't wait.
My juices are flowing, so we'll talk about that later off
Cool.
air. But I really can see this book being in the hands of these young girls, and I don't think junior high is too young, honestly.
Mm-mm, not at
Because
all. Not at all. I
yeah,
think like fifth grade. I think that's a good starting point for the book. One of the other things I mentioned in the book is mentorship. So
Mm,
making sure that you seek people who are like you would like to be
mm,
in every area, whether it's financial, whether it is health and wellness, whether it's you know, how you etiquette. Like you could do a class on,
mhm,
presenting yourself in front of a camera or on
yeah,
stage, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
finding those individuals that you look up to and connecting with them,
mhm,
understanding the value of mentorship, because that's the key, to elevation. And
mhm.
that's another key word this year. Evolve and elevate.
Evolve, elevate. My pastor is teaching about change.
Mhm.
Week before last, he talked about all things new. And
Yes.
so, and I have grabbed hold to that theme
Yes.
because all things new for me, all things new, my mindset, my
Mhm.
mentality, my dining room table, my kitchenette,
Yes.
I'm telling you,
Right.
all things new. That's just, that's the mindset that I'm in right now. And I think that you're spot on. And I think your book is coming out at the right time.
Mm.
Timing
Time is
is
key,
everything.
isn't it? Yes, it is. And our
Yeah.
pastor is on a shift series, and he talks
Mm.
about how shift happens, and he uses those words interchangeably, and it is so real and relevant.
Mm.
So having those shift in mindset. We just came off of a 21-day all raw fast. So
Ooh.
clearing your mind, clearing your body of the things
Mhm.
that you don't need to make room for the new. We need to shift.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I'm on a cleanse right now,
Hmm.
but it's not raw, but I am on a cleanse. Now, Tanya, I'm gonna veer off, do a sidebar, as they say in theater. Now I tried to do this raw thing, and I did for 2 weeks,
Okay.
but I just ran out of stuff. I ran out of stuff to eat,
Mhm.
preparation. Now I love salads because I can pretty much eat a salad every day.
Sure.
But I just kind of ran out of ideas
Yes.
for
Well,
raw food.
I have, some sites that I can recommend, but just about anything that you can imagine eating, you can create a raw version of it. You
Okay.
just need to know what to do. So, a lot of nuts, a lot of mushrooms that you can utilize that would take the place of perhaps ground meat.
Hmm.
So we had a gentleman come to our house and teach us how to prepare foods that way. And he
Okay.
spent the weekend with us,
Hmm.
and that's a whole nother level. That alkaline eating,
Yeah.
where the majority of the food is raw, or it's got to be It's got to be fruits or vegetables from a specific
Hmm.
food list.
Hmm.
But he taught us how to be real creative with herbs and spices so that you don't become bored and thinking, oh, all I can do is eat salad or just
Like I did. Like I did. I was like, forget this, But again, I went on to the Daniel fast, so I was able to kind of finish
Mhm.
it out that way. Because I'm one, I don't really have to have meat. I
Right.
really don't.
I don't either.
And I eat it, but I don't have to have it. And I've been off of pork for 21 years, beef for 20 years. So, I've been off of those things for a while. So it's just not necessary. But raw, hey,
Yes. So that'll be a chapter in the book as well. How to prepare food that will bring you life.
I like this. So, all right, so in a is this like a whole self-care book? I
It
mean,
is.
just
It's a
wow.
whole self-care book. Mentally,
Hmm.
physically, emotionally, personally, financially, you name it. So it's
Okay.
gonna touch. I'm gonna touch on that as well. So you're not. It's not really a sidebar. It's all inclusive.
I see. Okay, hey.
Yes.
Uh our cousin is reaching out to us.
Hey Mia, what's up, cousin? How are you?
He wants to get the book.
We'll be. I haven't dropped it yet, but it's coming. You'll know.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yes.
Everybody will know.
Yes,
And
and then my godmother is on. She says sounds good to her. Now she has a book out. She's an author, and
mhm.
she writes poems. And she has a beautiful book out of poems that she's written, which is just amazing.
Okay.
And so she is an author, well, so but she also loves books. She always makes sure I have and her daughter, which is my best friend, she makes sure we have certain books in our repertoire of
Okay.
libraries, and she finds the most oddest books to get.
Mhm.
And I know she's probably going to want one of your books.
Awesome. And I have to pick up hers as well. But yeah.
Yes, here's another cousin,
Hey, what's going on?
Sheba.
Hey, cuz.
So hopefully we'll have some more come in. I told Michael that you were on too.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit more, Tonya, about what you do. I know we were focusing really on Let's Kiss tonight, but wait a
Yes.
minute, that didn't sound right.
Let's kiss tonight. Hey. Let's keep it simple tonight.
Okay, let me come back. So, but let's talk about some of the other things that you do.
I'll be glad to. So, what I'm really focused on now is teaching people how to trade. And so
Mhm.
in 2019, one of my mentors was on Facebook and I heard him say that I want her, but oh, thank you, Wilma. I heard him say, listen, you all, I have learned a skill set that I believe everybody should learn. It's a way for us to be able to analyze what's happening in the market and take profit for ourselves daily. So when we deposit money in banks behind the scenes, they're multiplying our money, compounding our money, but not necessarily sharing the growth with us. Because if you think about your checking account, how much interest do you make on it? Typically none, right? So I learned a skill set, right? Back in 2019, that allows for us to open a broker account in the trading space and then compound it daily. And so I'm teaching that twice a week, that skill. It has been life changing because so many doors have opened. If you understand the skill set, you're able to then tap into other people's money and grow the account. And it can be a full time income for you once you understand this skill set. So that is my passion right now because if you can read and you can add, then you'll be able to analyze these charts and compound your money. So that's something else that I'll talk about in the book as well. Because I believe if we would have learned this in the fourth or fifth grade, wow, where we all would be financially today.
Mhm.
So it's something that we've taught people from the age of 5-year olds to 85-year-olds, and special needs students have
Mhm.
learned this skill. So it's not difficult. It just takes you time to, really take the time to study and practice. And it's something that nobody can take away from you.
Mm. And
So
I want to encourage people who are listening tonight or whenever you go back to listen to this. Don't be afraid to expand your mind.
mhm.
It's and to be honest, sometimes it mentally hurts your head to learn something that you don't know the older we get. Okay. And the frustration is so frustrating to where we just kind of try it through never mind.
Mhm.
But I would just admonish all of you to push through that. What do I call it?
It's
It's
scary.
uncomfortableness. Yeah, and it's fear too,
Mhm.
because you're forcing your brain to do something and it's never done before. And so our body and our brain is created, if it's anything that comes against us that can consider to be a threat, doesn't feel good, pressure, that sort of thing, our body is created to throw it off.
Mhm.
And so we have to push through that feeling because it's just an emotion. If you push through that feeling, it's
Mhm.
just temporary. So if we get to the other side of it, you will feel a lot better. It's kind of like Tonya, when you are driving and it's raining, and some people will pull over, but some people will
Right.
keep driving. I'm
Mm-hmm.
that girl. I'm going to keep driving. Now I'll throw
Me
my
too.
caution
I'm
lights
not
on.
stopping.
I'll slow
Mm-hmm.
down a little bit, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
2 inches ahead. The sun is shining and the roads are
That's
dry
right.
like it was never raining.
Right.
And so we have to consider that mindset as we're going into new things, as we're
Mm-hmm.
expanding our horizon, as we're wanting to learn. Because, and that's probably another show, Tonya, for you to come back on, but it's, where we are with our currency is
Mm-hmm.
not the days of old and the
No.
way things used to be. And
Right.
so whether it hurts your brain or not, we're all are going to be forced to push through to where our country is going with currency. Is
Yes.
we used to think, hey, if I can put $15 million under my mattress, I'm cool. Well, that $15 million is not going to help you when you're going to places like Atlanta and you can't find one place to take cash. I
Mm-hmm.
was in Atlanta, Tonya, and I said, well, I'm going to take some cash with me too, because I'm just going to use this cash because I had that set aside for something. And I mean, I couldn't pay them to take the cash.
Wow.
Nobody took cash, from the malls to the shopping malls, the stores, the restaurants, the parking areas where you pay them. No one took cash in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of like, eh, we need to come up with the times, but we have to understand how this currency works. We have to understand trading in the market. We have to understand how to do cryptocurrency. What does that look like? We have to understand how to do the OPM, other
Mm-hmm.
people's money. That's more on a business standpoint, but we have to learn how to utilize credit and credit cards and lines of credit, personal as well as business. But it's gonna cause us to make a shift in our minds to look at things differently. When I grew up, Tanya, and you knew my dad,
Mm-hmm.
he was always that dude was like, no, don't charge anything, don't charge anything, don't charge anything. And so, but he grew up in that era where charging stuff and having credit and debt, that was a no. You don't want to have that, you don't want to have this and that. And it scared me. So I
Mm-hmm.
operated differently for a long time until I came to another understanding of it.
Right.
And so sometimes we have to get rid of our domestication, and our domestication is being raised by our parents and them well, I don't say inflicting, but infiltrating their mindset on
Right.
us until we're old enough to get our own.
Oh,
And so, we have to get out of that. And so, Tanya, you make it very, very simple to understand the terminologies.
mm-hmm.
I was on the call last Friday. One of those calls, I ended up in a call that I didn't know I ended up into. I just stayed in and listened.
Right.
but but it was very educational,
Mm-hmm.
because I opened up my mind and I was willing to expand it to something uh, apart from my normal way of thinking. So,
Mm-hmm.
Tanya, you have people who are used to a way of thinking. How do you get them out of that, or how do you ease them into expanding?
That's a great question. That'll be addressed in the book as well. So it starts with your personal conversation with yourself.
Mm,
So knowing that if one person can do anything on earth, so can you. We were
mm,
all created by the same creator, if you believe how I believe, right? And so that's always been my belief. Well, if one person has done it, I definitely can do it. So
mm,
the conversations that we have with ourselves are very important. When I'm mentoring someone in my classes, I always talk about never saying anything that you don't want to materialize. So I'm not going to say something that I don't want to happen. So you have to train yourself, number one, to be grateful for the things that we have ahead in front of us and that we've accomplished. Number two, we have to learn how to affirm in the positive, because
mm,
our words and thoughts are creating our life. So if we don't want a certain thing to occur, don't think it and don't say it. So it's easy to say, don't think something. But how do you train yourself not to think negative thoughts? Well, you have to practice meditation.
mm,
So if you practice meditation, then you understand how to clear your mind. And then once you have a blank canvas, then you fill it with the things that you desire. So
Yes.
having that prayer, affirmation, meditation, all lining up, then we can get rid of those fears and emotions that keep us captive to that conformity that has happened in our lives because of our environment.
Mhm, mhm.
So that's also touched on in the book.
Yeah, we gotta get this book. Tanya, listen, Speedy Gonzalez, let's get this book out.
The book discovered it.
You said something about meditation, and I
Mhm.
do that. And there's several ways that you can do it, but
Yes.
sometimes people of God look at meditation as being a negative,
Mm,
and really it's not.
no.
Some people take meditation and they clear their mind, which is what I do. I totally clear my
Mhm.
mind of everything.
Right.
And so, a lot of them view it as being something kind of mystical or whatever, but I
Mhm.
think it's how you handle your form of meditation.
Right.
I'm one that I think I'm one of, because I always have something going on. I'm always busy. I'm always creative. I'm always thinking. I'm always forward thinking. Sometimes I'm
Mhm.
always overthinking.
Yes.
And so what I do is I clear my mind.
Mhm.
And so, Tanya, I don't know about you, but when I first started, I started and I would deem about 5 minutes, and I would get my phone and I would put 5 minutes in my alarm.
Mhm.
When I tell you, Tanya, that was the longest 5 minutes ever
Yes, it
in
was.
my life.
Yes.
Oh,
You know what helped me because it was tough for me. Just thinking about what you said, some people think it's mystical or it's not even deep. If you
mhm,
just think about, okay, I'm aware of how I'm breathing. That's meditation. Being
right.
aware of how you're breathing allows for you to clear your mind.
Mhm.
So there's some breathing exercises that I learned from Tony Robbins that help you to heal your body as well. So if you
Mm.
just think of it as, okay, this is just another form of healing, right? So when I do my breathing techniques, that's when I'm meditating and my mind is being clear. So it's nothing more than that. Now, there's an app that I do like with Oprah and Deepak. Is the 21-day meditation app, and they
Okay.
have different topics. So if you want healing, if you want peace of mind, if you want clarity, you can focus in on a certain area and meditate on that. And in the app, there are different exercises. There's a journal in the app with questions that you can answer in
Mm.
the journal, and it's a way for them to help you direct your meditation until you can do it on your own. But that's an app that I really enjoy. But don't meditation is simply clearing your mind. And if you can, create those breathing exercises that you're aware of, if you can practice those, then that if you can think of it that way, it's really going to help. And then when you pray and you affirm, it just the three together create power.
Yes, it does. There's a guy that I use. I use his breathing methods. Yes, here it is. Now, he is I was looking on it on YouTube. His name is Wim Hof.
Mm-hmm.
Wim Hof. Now, Wim is he is also referred to as the Iceman.
Okay.
And so he believes in taking ice baths to shock your body and get it
Mhm.
out. Now, I'm not going that far, Tanya.
Mhm.
I use his breathing techniques when he can have the ice baths. I'm good. But his breathing techniques, because they're so somewhat aggressive in the breathing techniques, he does about 10 minutes of them, 3 rounds, to where you can only focus on the breathing. I mean, you can't focus on anything else other than what he's telling you to do.
Mhm.
And so I like that, because when I'm focusing, I don't think about anything else. And it helps me with the meditation part because my whole mind is clear because I'm focusing on what he's telling me to do.
Right.
And so I went from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. So I can pretty much do 10 minutes now, but every now and then I might veer off on an appointment I have, later on in the day, or a call I got to return, or a podcast I
Right.
got to produce, stuff like that. But I just
Mhm.
quickly get back on track with the meditation.
Right.
So I think you're right. We have to kind of expand ourselves, expand our minds. Don't be so stuck on things that we don't have a true understanding about,
Mhm.
because we're going to miss out on a lot of things if we do that.
Right. Right.
So meditation, journaling, as you said before, which is real good. And I do that. I journal in the mornings.
Mhm.
And you just kind of create a regime for yourself.
You do.
Create a regime for yourself. And so once we get the Let's Kiss book, we can add that in our morning reading. So that'll replace some morning reading of other things that I'm doing. I'll replace that with your book. Read maybe a chapter each morning until I finish the book, but that's a part of the reading.
Right.
And so I'm real when I tell you I'm so excited about the book. I'm excited about the trading that you're doing. Now, you had mentioned something about you teach people trading techniques.
Mhm.
Is this a coaching that you do? Is this a business that you have with that? How can someone get connected with you or get a part of your curriculum to teach them how to do trading?
Yes, I am in a part of a organization, the I Am Academy. And so when a person joins the academy, then they have access to the information that gives you the foundation of what you need in order to understand the concept of trading, the
Okay.
terminology. So you have theory through the academy, and then I give you the practical. So
Hmm.
you enroll in the academy, and you'll have access to all the modules. You learn at your own pace. It's like a university online.
Hmm.
And then I do 2 tutoring sessions a week for those who are enrolled within the academy in my organization. And I make sure that each person who's enrolled understands the concept. So any question you have, anything that you want to see executed, then I do that twice a week.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. We got another cousin on the line.
Yeah. Hey, Adrian. What's up, cousin?
They are coming in. They're coming in.
It's a family affair.
It is. So they can get connected with the academy, and that's how they can get assigned to you, or
So yeah, when you get it connected to the academy, it's because you heard about it from someone
okay.
typically. And so it's a form of affiliate marketing. You can build an organization and a team if you want to, or it's an educational platform only. So however a person wants to approach it, but it's a way to create multiple streams of income, which I'll talk about in the book as well. Because
Yes.
if you find yourself with one stream of income and it goes away, then you're not at peace, right? And we
That's right.
always want to be at peace. So if you have multiple streams of income and one goes away, it doesn't matter. So within the academy, you have an opportunity to act as a university because universities provide education, but it's also a business, right?
Mhm.
So when someone enrolls in university and they pay that tuition, the university is benefiting from that payment. So if
Right.
you tell someone about trading and they enroll, you're able to earn bonuses and residuals as well.
Okay, very good. I know that you have been into this a form of marketing for a while, and you have been extremely successful in that, and you have just identified that sweet spot
Yeah.
with it. And so I like the fact that now that you're giving back to people who are interested in small business, building the concepts, growing the business, understand the ins and outs of day-to-day operation and running a business. And so I appreciate what you are bringing to us as small businesses and what you're pouring into us. So now the book again, when will you take pre-orders? we trying to get
You
this
know
book.
what? I'm trying the pre-orders I want to set for the month of February because of the Let's Kiss theme and Valentine's Day. I think it would be a
Yes.
nice touch. So just stay tuned. We're gonna be gearing up for the pre-orders real soon.
Okay, so we have some ministers on this line, and we're all going to be interceding and praying for
Amen.
this book to be pushed out in February. I'm a real girly girl, so I love just romance and I
Hmm.
love little girly stuff. So I love the Let's Kiss concept. I love the title, and so I am really looking forward to this book.
Well, thank you. I'm excited about it too. It's my first book, so I want it to be unique as well. So it's going to be different twists and turns within the book.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, well, congratulations to you. I know you're super duper busy, but I just want to thank you for hanging out with your cousin inside the ladies' room.
Thanks for
And know that you always have a key. You have a virtual key.
having
So you can use, they say that family get keys to the house. So you
Yes,
can
yes.
use that key whenever you want to, whenever you have a new initiative that's going on, anything new that you have coming down the pipeline, you know that this platform is always open for you to share with us what you have going on because we would love to hear it.
Indeed. I appreciate it. And our networking group on Friday mornings, I'm glad you're able to join us there. You bring a lot of value. So if anybody needs some goal setting, some coaching, definitely reach out to Clarissa because she is the beast in that space as well. And
Thank
so we're
you.
learning from each other, we're pouring into each other, adding value to each other. And that's what it's all about. Just sharing the value, sharing the
Mhm.
love.
Yes, well, much love to you, cousin. Love you, love you, love you.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and my family. We're just talking about some amazing things that she has coming on down the pipeline. Ah, there's Michael.
Hey, cuz, what's happening?
I told him because he always comes in on my show like on
Uh-huh.
on the recordings. He said, "Well, who do you have on today?" I said, "I got family on tonight." "Oh, I'll be on." So he made it his business to come on.
Awesome.
So I'm
Awesome.
glad the family was able to come on and hang
Yes.
out with us tonight. So very good, very good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us inside the ladies' room here tonight. I want you to stay safe this week, stay vigilant, stay mindful. A lot of things are kind of going on in life right now. So we just want to be mindful, stay prayed up, be vigilant. Don't be afraid, but be watchful and be vigilant and pray. Pray that God will keep you and that he will protect you during this time. Love you guys so much, and we'll see you back here next Monday. Good night.
Good night.
Step into the ladies' room with Clarissa.